Welcome back to Riding Bikes in San Diego. We are in Del Cerro, which is the neighborhood you find yourself in if you don't want to cross the 8 at Lake Murray going on to 70th. We're going to try crossing at College Avenue. Over here, we have a shopping center to the side with a supermarket. I'm a little surprised that there's no bike lane over here considering all of the residential neighborhood that filters right over here to get out. But I had to wait at that red light. I can't fast forward the video, so we are making a left here on College Avenue, and looks like there's a little shoulder here. I don't know if this is a bike lane or just a shoulder for folks to park in. There's no signage, there's no markings, but it's a space, so we're going to ride in it and see what happens. I had never really done this before. Maybe I did it like once years ago, but this is not a regular route I take, and the line just goes away. So I'm just going to hug to the right over here and see what happens. We are approaching an interchange so that folks driving can get onto the freeway. I see that line coming up, so I moved over so that folks who want to be on the freeway can do it, like this red car. And then I'm going to stop at this light. And this is really, compared to 70th, this is not great at all. The only saving grace here is hitting the red light, it seems. So we're in this buffer space between the on-ramp and the ramp that goes over. It'd be nice if they painted bike signs in here. And now we're going over the actual bridge where I am literally in a shadow bike lane. There's no paint here, there's no markings, there's just a shadow of the railing. And that is what is marking the bike lane. We have to cross over this other entrance to go onto the 8 East, and then we end up in some other shoulder paint and add another light. So this is wacky. Right on the other side, by the time we get to the other side, there's a major university here. And if you live just north of the university and don't want to use a car to get to campus, you're out of luck. There's just no option. You have to be driving a car. There's no sidewalks anywhere to be seen. There's no bike infrastructure at all. This is how we've designed the space right next to our major university in the city of San Diego. It's wild. I have the light, so I'm going along here. Luckily, there are no drivers coming up this off-ramp. That driver cut over. I'm going to filter through because what else am I supposed to do? And I know some folks are going to watch this and start thinking to themselves, like, well, you shouldn't be here. Here's the thing. People have to get places, right? And I was riding on roads before that was just a neighborhood. Here's the ironic part. Look at what's right here. A bike lane. How is anybody, the green paint, the picture and everything. Of course, it ends, 30 feet later, which is just so goofy. Then there's a Cerro that we just passed on this lane that's ending and merging all together. And this is actually fairly new paint. I used to ride this. I used to take Alvarado, but there's no bike lane for half of that. So that's why I stick to going up 70th and to taking Montezuma, because there's bike paint that whole way. But now a bike lane starts up, and I don't know why this little white line couldn't have extended down to that other little white line back down there. But it's a bonkers design. So if I'm not going to take Lake Murray and 70th, then I have to cut through the Del Cerro neighborhood, which I covered the other day on this channel, and this is what I'm left with. This is not safer in my mind. This is a much more heavily trafficked road. A lot of people driving to SDSU, and the pavement is a little bit better. I'll give them that. 70th could definitely use a slurry seal the way this one has, and I think that since this was slurry sealed, they made this wider. I used to come up here, and I think that it was at least a foot more narrow. You can even, I think, see the remnant of the old line underneath there, but Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I'm on this ride though, and we're gonna keep going for a little bit because things do get pretty wonderful. I decided that when I get to the top of this hill, instead of going all the way past that tall building coming up and the Trader Joe's and a couple of restaurants and things like that, and getting back onto Montezuma, I decided I'm going to skip that because there are lots of drivers over there who want to make turns. There are other interchanges. There's a whole other traffic light that I don't feel like contending with and competing with drivers about. So I'm going to use my green paint here, and I'm going to dip over to the right here, and then all I have to do is hope nobody's coming up from here and jump up this little curb, and we have the start of a wonderful bike path that goes through the SDSU campus. We're now in the Transit Plaza. Off to the right are stairs that go down to a trolley stop. To the left, we have a bunch of bus stops, a bunch of bus routes, and we have this wonderful bike path. How you're supposed to get to this bike path, I showed you. I mean, it's a real challenge to get here on a bike. But rather than cut up to Montezuma, I'm going to take this path all the way through campus as far as I can and just think about what if more places in the community had paths like this, completely separated, completely protected. I mean, protected in that there are no other cars here. Cars wouldn't be over here. This is all pedestrian and bike paths. I know this is a college campus, but sometimes college campuses can really be the best models for how other communities can be designed. There are a lot of resources around here. There's a lot of, housing, and then amenities that the people need to use. There's a little grocery store right around the corner that I mentioned before, and I just have to turn around here because I remember that there are stairs up ahead. I've never ridden my bike over here. I'm used to being a pedestrian if I'm on this campus. So, I just maybe this is a route that I should take more often, even if I'm coming in from Montezuma. But it's a little bit of a detour, so usually I just skip it and stay in the bike paint on Montezuma. But I really love this. Viejas Arena is off to the right here if you ever want to see a basketball game or concerts are there. And we just get this wide open space, and I wish that there were more places in the community that had promenades like this that people can just use. So I'm going to think about that when I get back on the road and drive less and ride a bike. Thanks so much.